Hello everybody, Blue Water here. Welcome to another to a Microsoft Flight Simulator video. Today guys, we're going to be flying a passenger journey type of little mini Microsoft Flight Simulator series. It's going to be from Idaho Falls, Idaho, all the way down to Phuket, Thailand. This will include around 5 or 6 flights, maybe more than 7 actually. It will go from here, Idaho Falls, to Denver, to LAX, to Tokyo, Bangkok, and then Phuket. I don't want to count it. I'm just gonna guess 6. Just that lazy to count it. This first flight will be from KIDA to Denver in a Boeing 737-700, as you can see there. Yeah, so we'll start with our pilot. We're gonna start our battery on. Our ground power is already connected. And we will check our overhead pin, check some flaps, IRS to nav, check some flight recorder, good, some airport speed warning, good, those don't work, we got damper on, check all these down here, good, channel light, high brightness, sequence auto, only auto. Window heat on, anti-ice will stay off for now. It's hot. Hydraulic pumps will be turned on, and we're doing our air tank to pass cabin, voice recorder on, and our flight plan says our cruising altitude will be 34,000 feet. So it's cabin to pressure to 44,000 feet. And our landing altitude, Denver, will be 5,280 feet in elevation, so that'll be around 5,300 feet. At the perfect flight bag tablet, receiver, and then we're going to go next. We'll release our stairs.
Aircraft.
We're going to open
United
the door.
737, the jetway is going to be connected.
Alright, ignore me in the background, I'm taking over because you can't really hear me. We're going to turn our fuel pumps on, wait for those to turn on, and then we can start our APU. Alright, now we're going to go to our init ref, FMC, position in it, and we're going to set our IRS position. Put our reference airport in, which is KIDA. We're going to go to next page and get GPSL since it's more accurate than last position. Put it in, it should be in the plane now, and we're going to go to route, and we're going to flight plan request. We're going to select Slim Brief, and then set our payload and set our fuel, and then we're going to select our route right here, and then we're going to wait for the flight plan to request. Now as we wait for our flight plan request, we're just going to turn our flight directors on for the autopilot to function correctly, and we're going to go back down to check. Should be good. Flight plan request, we're going to click that button once, and then we're going to click load. Now the flight plan should be loading into the plane, which gives us our mid waypoints to Denver. So we're going to wait for that a little bit. We're just going to check around the airplane, okay, and then we're going to come back down. It's going to still load, then it'll say activate right there. We're going to click activate and then execute. Now the flight plan should be inside the plane. Now we're going to go to our departure arrivals, set a runway. The KIDA does not have an departure, so we're not going to do that. For Denver, we have ILS 16 left as our approach, and we have FLATI 316B as our approach. ILS 16 left for the runway approach. We're going to go to legs, we're going to connect our waypoints in there, and we're going to go ahead and double check our flight plan. Go up here, go to flight plan, set plan mode, and then we're going to basically go for our first waypoint, which is MJ, and we're going to click step and follow our way through the flight plan and make sure there's no errors, no disconnected legs or anything like that. Make sure, looks good. All the way to 16 left, and we got our alternate route for our go around over there to Bruise. Now that that's finished, we're going to start our APU gen since the APU is on. There we go. Then we're going to turn our APU bleed on for engine starting. Now we're going to go to ground service and release our ground power. Now we're going to do some couple tests. Fire overheat test here. Looks good. And we're going to do a system test.
Glide slope. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Here's the view of the plane from the airport here. On this flight, we're going to be sitting in a window seat on the left part of the plane in economy. Boarding is beginning by now. First class should be boarding by now, and all the, disabled people, veterans and stuff will be boarding by now. Alright, now as we're back into the cockpit, we're going to do our takeoff calculations. We're going to select our runway 21 in KIDA. And then we are going to click import from aircraft from all the data SimBrief gave us, import weather, calculate, and we have takeoff, flaps 1, temperatures 44 degrees Celsius, and then V1, VR, and V2 speeds are calculated. We're going to go for init, and we're going to set our cruising altitude, which is flight level 340. Cruise wind is going to be 250/47, so we're going to input that in. We're going to clear that. Now that we got that in, we're going to set a zero fuel weight from Pmdg. Not Pmdg, SimBrief. Reserves are going to be 5.5, and our COD index is going to be 5. Now we're going to execute that and select our N1 limit. Our throttle limit is going to be TO, club, 44 degrees Celsius, takeoff, flaps 1, and then set our V1, VR, and V2 speeds. We're just going to click this twice, set our semi-gravity weight, and we should be good. It says 250 knots at Eldo. We can just ignore that, it'll be fine. Now we're going to set our autopilot. We have both flight directors on. We're going to set our IAS Mach to V2, even though it doesn't even gauge by the time I hit V2. I'm way past that, but it's fine. We're going to set it at V2 for now. We're going to arm our auto throttle. We're going to set our altitude, which we need IFR clearance, and we're going to go check what our altitude will be in a little bit. Now you can't see it, but I have FSH UD open, and we're requesting IFR clearance. So ATC calls for us just to go straight up to climb flight level 340. We're not have no waypoints in the middle that just slowly climb us in between. We're going to now board the plane here in the 737-700. First class and a couple of the other groups, economy class, have already boarded. We're now going to board to our seat. Obviously store our carry-on luggage on board. Take a seat in the plane, and this will be our seat right here. Alright, now we have boarded. We're going to wait for other people to finish boarding and flight attendants to close the door, basically. Just going to chill here for a little bit and get ready, wait for pushback. Alright, we're going to remove our wheel chocks, and we're going to set our parking brakes on. I'm going to close our door here, and then our jetway will disconnect.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on United Flights. We'd like to welcome back our Mileage Plus members who are earning or using award miles on this flight. On today's flight, we have 3 flight attendants. You can look for the language bar worn on their uniforms. At this time, we ask that you direct your attention to the following important safety presentation. Thank you.
Welcome. We're excited to have you aboard.
I'm going to go ahead and request pushback clearance and start engine startup by ATC.
Slide the metal end into the buckle. Tighten by pulling the loose end of the strap. Lift the buckle to release.
Now that we got clearance, we're going to go ahead and start our pushback with Pmdg because it's just better than Microsoft One.
Keep yourself
We've been cleared for pushback and start tail straight up.
with this aircraft. This Boeing 737 is equipped with 4 exit doors, 2 on each side of the aircraft. If the doors are opened in an emergency, slides will automatically. 4-door slides detach from the aircraft and serve as extra flotation. Do not use the rear exits unless advised by a crew member. You'll also find 3 life rafts located in marked compartments. One is located in a ceiling compartment in the forward cabin, and 2 are in ceiling compartments behind the overwing exits. There are also 2 window exits over the wings. All 6 exits are marked with overhead signs. As you locate the 2 exits nearest your seat, remember, they may be behind you.
If you are seated in an exit row, you may be asked to assist the crew during an evacuation, the flight attendant to be moved. If you must evacuate the aircraft, exit path lights on or near the floor will illuminate and guide you to the exit. Change in color or an exit sign to indicate that you've reached an exit. Leave all carry-on bags behind. Please refer to the safety card near your seat for the operation of the exit doors on this aircraft.
Necessary and
Right, pushback has stopped.
above your seat.
So we can pull our parking brake up and we can continue to start our engines. If you lead is on, we're going to start engine right.
Place the mask over your nose
And we're going to moderate it,
and
make sure it goes to
slip the band
0.2.
over your head. The band does not require
Once it hits
adjustment.
0.2, we're going to hit
To
engine
start
2
below
start.
oxygen,
And it
breathe
should start
normally
now.
before helping others.
Should you need it, you'll find a life vest equipped with the water-activated light under or near your seat. When directed, pull the tab to remove the pouch. Tear open the pouch, remove and unfold the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the belt around your waist and secure it to the buckle in front. Pull the loose end to tighten. Inflate your vest just prior to exiting the aircraft by pulling down sharply on the red tab. You can also inflate the vest by blowing it.
Alright, right engine is started. We're going to start our left engine. Go for 0.2.
Smoking of any kind, including e-cigarettes, is never
And we'll
allowed.
put that up. Now we're going to go ahead and
This
turn our taxi lights on.
law also requires passengers to comply with lighted signs
And our
and
anti-collision
weather
lights.
instructions.
International destinations, your flight attendants will advise you if it's necessary to turn off and stow your device.
We'll be taking off soon. Please review the safety card.
Now that both engines are started, we're going to set our isolation valves to auto
Doing it safe.
for cabin air pressure. We're going to turn our engine generators on, APU off, turn APU bleed off, and we should be good. We're going to set our flaps now to 1. Flight control test now. Make sure everything's working. Left, right, up, down, and rudder pedals. Alright, requesting taxi clearance from ATC here. Auto brakes should be on auto reject takeoff. Alright, we're gonna give some throttle now and begin our taxi here. And do a sharp turn left here. We're kind of overshooting it. I mean, not really getting it right, but you know what I mean. Let's turn a little bit more over here. Avoid that light or front wheel. And let's get on the taxiway here. Now going to set our vertical speed to 2,000 feet per minute. Get ready for takeoff. And we'll continue for taxi. Our runway should be just down this corner. We're going to go right down here and turn left, and we should be on the runway. Ground is giving us a handoff to tower to get takeoff clearance. Now we're going to stop and request clearance to take off. Got clearance to line up on runway 21. Throttle up. Continue taxi onto runway. Alright, we got clearance to take off. We're going to put a little bit of brake on here. I'm going to turn our run landing lights on, taxi lights off, anti-collision lights off, and we should be ready for takeoff here. So we're going to put our throttle about to 50%, yoke down, and then the toga take the rest. Rotate. Rotate up there. Gust of wind going the other way. Landing gear up. I'm going to try to engage my auto throttle. It doesn't really work out. So we're just going to turn left here and just deal with the throttle not being V2. I'm going to put my auto throttle at 200 knots and we're going to set it. You can hear my throttle drop. We're going to engage autopilot, turn our LNAV on, vertical speed should be 2000. I'm going to get that right. A little too high over there. Let LNAV line us up with our flight plan. And we're going to retract our flaps. Increasing our airspeed to 250 knots. And we're going to continue our climb to about 10,000 feet. We'll turn the landing lights off and go to and set our IAS to about 310 knots. Alright, we reached about 10,000 feet. We're going to turn our landing lights off. I don't know why the helmet was off already. We're going to set our IAS to about 310 knots. And we will continue our climb. Alright, we have reached our cruising altitude. Now we're going to turn our seatbelt sign off. And we're going to give our passengers the message.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain has turned off his seatbelt sign. For your safety, we do recommend that you keep them on as we can get unexpected turbulence. Thank you.
Alright, we've now, ATC has now given us instructions to start our descent. We're descending to 22,000 feet first at a descent rate of 2,000 feet per minute. Now I'm going to slow down our aircraft to about 250 knots. We can now hear all the other aircrafts at Denver talking with ATC. Denver Center will now tell us to go down to 13,000 feet. Now our descent will begin.
And with the sound of those double chimes, our flight's be coming to an end. Please prepare for landing. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened about you. Your tray table and seat back are in the upright and locked position. All video screens, head and footrests need to be stowed at this time. For those of you in Polaris First and Polaris Business, please press and hold your green airplane button on your control panel to bring your seat to its proper landing position. Also in Polaris First, secure your shoulder strap after fastening your seatbelt. All large personal electronic devices such as laptops must be turned off and be put away. You may continue to use your small, lightweight electronic devices, but these must be unplugged, switched to airplane mode, and secured. Please have a look around the airplane to refresh your memory of the location of your nearest emergency exits, keeping in mind your closest one may be behind you. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival and be seated in your jump seats. We'll be on the ground shortly.
Flaps 1 set, we're going to be at 235 knots. We're going to continue our descent here to KIDA-KDEN. About 40 nautical miles. VTC still tells us to continue our descent down to 13,000 feet. Want to go flaps 2. Alright. Alright, as we approach our final leg, we're going to go 185 knots, and we're going to go flaps 10. Alright, ATC has cleared us for approach on 16 left. We're going to be doing a visual approach today, and not an eyeless approach, which is just a visual. Visual guidance. DC cleared us to go to 8,000 feet as we descend. We're going to set our vertical speed to about 1,000 feet per minute. We're going to slow down our airspeed a little bit, back down to 180 knots. I'm going to get a good look at the runway. I'm just going to change my altitude a little bit as 11,000 feet, as ATC told me, but we're just going to continue our descent. Get a good close look at a runway there that we're going to be arriving at. ATC telling us to descend more. We're just going to go straight to 8,000 feet. Go to negative 1,500 as our vertical descent speed. And slow down to 165 knots. Go ahead and increase our vertical descent speed to 2,000 feet. We're almost on final, so we're going to turn our landing gear out. Decrease our vertical speed here so we can slow down a little bit. And we're going to turn our auto brake to 1 since it's a longer runway. Approach here. While we do that, we're going to go to our landing settings. We're going to do flaps 15 and 132 knots. And we're going to input that in there. Now we might do flaps 25 instead, just for safety reasons. And as you approach final, we're going to slowly decrease our airspeed. Maybe still keep it here since we're quite a bit away still. And now, as we wait for ATC to give us clearance for approach, we'll take manual control of the plane. We're still at 165 knots. We'll slow down to our initial speed, which will be 135 knots or 140 knots, and increase our flaps to flaps 15. We're going to keep our altitude about 8,000 feet, since Denver's a pretty high elevation, and wait till we get close enough for a visual approach for our runway. We're now put new flaps 15 and disconnect our autopilot, take manual control of the plane. Now we'll start a visual approach. And slow our airspeed down to our landing speed, which is 132 knots. Now you can see we have heavy crosswind in the top left of the map. It will display the crosswind going to the left. It's a little too low for this, so I'm going to go increase our airspeed to 135 knots. Still looking low, we're going to increase it to about 138. Got an airspeed warning, so I think we're going to do flaps 25 now. It's a little too slow for flaps 15, I think. Increase it to 140. And we'll do flaps 25. Looking good on the glide path so far. And we're going to go shrink it down back to 135 with increased flaps. Continue approach. Getting clearance to land from tower as we connect to it after our handoff. Clearance to land. As we get too close to 1. Okay.
500.
crosswind here. Continue.
200.
Gonna disconnect our auto throttle. Control.
100. 50. 30.
Flare.
20. 10.
Speed brakes up. Reverse thrusters. Brakes. Good. Decrease our flaps. Turn off to the taxiway. Speed brake should be up. Turn auto brake off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and all items stowed until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Please make sure you have all of your personal belongings before you exit the aircraft, and be careful when opening overhead compartments. You are now free to use your mobile phones and small lightweight devices. On behalf of United, our Star Alliance partners, and your entire flight crew, thank you for flying the friendly skies with us today. We hope you've had a pleasant experience, and we look forward to welcoming you again on another United flight.
Alright, we'll be taxiing here about another maybe 5 minutes. This is a pretty long taxi. We are going to gate A66. We will be deplaning the plane with a staircase and a passenger bus. We will not be deplaning at a jetway, unfortunately. This taxi will take around 10 minutes, and we'll be there shortly. It was a bit of struggle using this because FSHUD's taxi kind of way is kind of difficult to use, and I kind of missed the gate here, so we're going to use external view to kind of park this since we don't have any visual guidance. So we're just going to use, we're going to use external view basically, and turn right here at 866. Make a nice sharp turn, just like that. Get aligned with this line here. Planes aligned. A little bit more right. Slow down a little bit. There we go. And we're basically going to stop at that first line. Little left. There we go, and stop right there. Perfect. Alright, set our parking brakes. Seatbelts off, and we can turn off our engines. And we'll go ahead and connect our ground power.
Push back and start up.